Yeah. Tuesday mornings or something. Maybe the sun was just hitting.
Good afternoon, Flint Rotary. Can you folks hear me? All right, we're gonna play with the audio a little bit. I don't know, if Amy, would you be able, since you're passing by there on the little panel there, to raise the volume? Yes. You would gotta touch the little panel and then all right, so I'll just project until then. So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Rotary. All right, I love it. It is Friday, June 9th. And that means it is the last Friday before I'm roasted. So we only have one more in-person regular meeting before we have our district conference, and then it's the end of June, and then we'll get to have a brand new opportunity with President-elect Anne Marie. But today, also being June 9th, means it is Writers' Rights Day. And I realized that if you're not reading that, there's several different potential interpretations of that. So you could be like rituals of writers, perhaps, or maybe it's, I think, the rights as in the civil rights and human rights meaning. But it's also Donald Duck Day. And so I have to just ask, is there anybody in here who can do a Donald Duck voice? No. All right, I was gonna offer $5 to whoever could do a really good Donald Duck voice, but it looks like I could save my $5. I have to tell you, as a kid, one of my friends' fathers could do that, and I was really impressed. Today, we welcome back one of our very own, Roxanne Kane, past president of this very club, and she is currently with the Detroit Lions Foundation. And we get to introduce 3 new Rotarians today. So we have a lot to look forward to. So before we get there, let's proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance As Rotarians, we try to live by the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And I would like to invite up David Smith to give our inspirational message.
Thank you. Good morning. So this week I went to the doctor's office, and as often happens, there was long delays. And I found myself sitting there getting irritated, not only at the delays, but everything else in the room. The TV was too loud. People were coughing, you know. This led me to think about being patient. And as I sat there, I was remembering an article I had read some time ago about the 3 elements of patience. I couldn't remember all of them. I didn't have the patience to look them up. But I did remember that the key element that stayed with me was humility. And as I thought about that for the hour and a half that I sat there in the waiting room, I realized that all of this irritation that I was feeling was because I felt everything around me was this conspiracy to inconvenience me, that I was at the heart of all of this. And that's where the irritation came from. And that's what prevented me from being patient with the circumstances that I was in. And so it is when I am stuck in traffic in a construction zone, and all I can think is these guys in the orange vests are preventing me from getting to where I need to go, delaying me from my attended run. So it the more I thought about how, when I remove myself from the center of the universe, so to speak, it's easier to see the circumstances and choose to be patient. The people that I admire most are patient people. Roxanne, one of them. And by the way, also attendant with that, humble people. In our credo, Rotary says that we should serve others. And in that sentence, it also says to be humble, that we should give service above self. I would suggest that if you want to feel at peace in all circumstances that come to you, first take yourself out of it, to be humble first and to seek patience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David, and Rotarians, please enjoy your lunch. We'll reconvene in just a little bit. All right, friends on Zoom, I'm going to release you to a breakout room and we'll see you back in just a little bit. All right, so the PA system is plenty loud now. That's been established. Welcome back, and of course, you're welcome to continue eating, but we're going to get going with our program for today. And I'm very pleased that the very first thing that we're going to get to do is to introduce some of our newest Rotarians. So, in doing so, I would just like to say a few things first, and then we'll have the Rotarians, new Rotarians, come on up. Fellow Rotarians, it is my privilege and my pleasure today to welcome into membership of our club 3 new Rotarians. We have Liz Winstrom Williams, whose name was proposed by Nick Godlewski and myself. Jim Thompson, who I'm sponsoring, as well as Jerry Lajewski, proposed by Bob Spilsky. The proposals have been reviewed by our club board in accordance with the Constitution and the bylaws of our club. Liz, Jerry, Jim, we now proceed to admit you into membership of the Rotary Club of Flint, and so to the Fellowship of Rotary throughout the world. So I already even explained to you the ideals of Rotary service and our principle of service above self. The object of this club and of all Rotary clubs is to encourage and foster the ideal of this as a basis of worthy enterprise. And you now are part of this effort. You have been approved for membership in this club because we believe you to be worthy representatives of your vocation, interested in the ideals of Rotary, and willing to do your share in translating these ideals into tangible realities. You have agreed to accept these obligations attached to your membership and to follow this club's constitutions and bylaws. Now I have the pleasure of inviting each of our new Rotarians up so that you can be presented with your pins as a symbol of your membership in Rotary. All right. And so I'm going to invite up Bob Sabilski, if you'd like to share first a little bit about Jerry. And as you do that, I'll get her pin ready.
Want me to use the mic better?
Yeah, here, you can use the mic.
Oh, can you all hear? You can. Really, it's my honor to introduce Jerry Lajewski, who is now with Catholic Charities. He's the own development director. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, fellow doctor. Single, get that mic over there. Anyway, I got a small bio on Jerry, and he's a native of Genesee County. Joined Catholic Charities as the development director, and with a bachelor's degree in counseling, psychology, and an MBA. Jerry has an impressive set of skills and experience. I love this. She's been a firefighter, an EMT, and event organizer, painter, designer, marketing specialist, and a salesperson. And when you meet her, you'll know that. Gary's passion to help people in a way that is personally rewarding and beneficial to the community is in line with her past experiences and education, making her role as a charity perfect fit. And she has been living in the city of Flint for the past decade and is an active member of Holy the Redeemer Parish. Additionally, she serves on the Flint Area Unity Council and is a member of the National Federation of Blind and the chapter. She's also a guide for the visually impaired when they run in the crib this summer. One of Jerry's favorite quotes is from Saint Mother Teresa of Calcutta, who said, "Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things great and with great love." Jerry's drive to make a difference in our community will make her an outstanding asset to the Flint Rotary Club.
And so as a symbol of our appreciation and our welcoming you to the club, we have a Rotary mug and
Rashawn.
we have your certificate of membership.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much, and thank you for sponsoring.
Thank you. Thank you. Julia. We will go sit down.
All right.
You get your picture.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. My notes are over here, so I guess I'm going to stand in this mic. So I'd like to introduce to you Liz Wenstrom-Williams. Liz for short, is the Director of Development of the United Way of Genesee County, which also serves Shiawassee County. In addition to her career, community engagement, and volunteerism, which are all very important to her, she's also the president of the Flint Women's Forum, president of the Junior League of Flint, Ellie's Place board member, and a committee member of YMCA's Camp Copenhagen Committee. She's also a member of the 100 Club. And now she gets to add to that, a member of the Flint Rotary Club. And of course, as many of you know, she also has been involved with Rotary well beyond the years of many of us, because Paul Wenstrom is her dad. And so of course, she's been involved with Rotary through one way or another for quite a while. She and her husband Ronald have been married for 10 years. They live in Grand Blanc, and they have an awesome 8-year-old son, Max. I can verify he is indeed awesome and has a new haircut that is very cool. And as well as 2 cats, Abby and Riley, who I'm sure are splendid, but I have not had the pleasure to meet. She loves spending time with family and friends, reading, traveling, and especially exploring all the great things that the beautiful state of Michigan has to offer. Liz is very excited to be a proud Rotarian and to continue to make a difference in our community. So Liz, welcome.
Got it. Well, that's the way
We didn't coordinate that there's like holes in her shirt.
No, it's in a little bit of time.
We know each other very well. And as a symbol again of your welcome, you've got your Rotary mug and this is yours, yes, it is yours, your.
Thanks, Mom.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I can't follow that.
I promise not to drop it down your shirt. We can only go up from there, right? All right, I would like to introduce you Jim Thompson. So Jim Thompson is many things. He is a veteran. He has been married for 60 years to Katie, who some of us got a chance to meet at the White Horse a couple weeks ago. And they raised 6 children, and as well as they now have 15 grandchildren and 1 great grandchild. He is a retired school counselor where he served for 40 years. He has a master's in education and retired from the Michigan School for the Deaf, as well as from Swartz Creek Community Schools. As some of you might have known from when we had Joe Sarah here last time, he's coached basketball as well as conducted a variety of basketball clinics at Genesis Athletic Club and was an AAU basketball state commissioner. He's worked with his wife, Katie, for several years in an effort to support musical theater in Swartz Creek. And they've helped to bring more than 100 performances to Mary Crapo School. He also worked on millage campaigns to build public support for a higher capacity theater in Swartz Creek and is proud that that state-of-the-art Swartz Creek Performing Arts Center opened in 2013. He has many civic and community roles, including serving as lector at St. Mary's in Swartz Creek. He also is a board member of the Genesee Counselors Association and has served with Mott Community College's Handicap Services, as well as being a volunteer at Flint's Raider Heights Academy, where his son Richard is principal, as well as at FIM St. Cecilia Society. He has owned and operated a family silk screening business and is a former member of Kiwanis and Knights of Columbus. And I'm very pleased that he is now a current member of the Rotary Club of Flint. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that gives you a little taste of our newest Rotarians here. And I hope that each of you is going to continue to make them feel very welcome and included. And now that you know a little bit more about them, you have even some conversation starters. But I have not seen any difficulty in any of our new Rotarians in making themselves feel quite at home. So we're very glad to have each of you. So to share just a few announcements, as you know, that our district conference is coming up 2 weeks from today. It's right around the corner. And I'm looking at George's face and he's got that. I can't quite believe it. Look, but it's 2 weeks from today and it's going to be great. So some of you may have seen in your email announcement this week that in order to encourage Flint Rotarians to participate, the club has decided that we are willing to subsidize the cost of the conference registration. So the full conference registration, which includes Friday, where our club meeting is going to start the proceedings, Friday through Sunday, the cost is $200, but the club is willing to subsidize half of that. Now, we don't have a super duper fancy mechanism on the website to have a Flint Rotarian only sign up way. So the way that it works is that you sign up, you pay through the website, the full $200, and then we will give you the opportunity to receive a credit for that $100. And so that could either be paying towards your dues, that's for the Rotary year that starts in July. That's one option you can have. The other option is if you would like to have that $100 be credited as a charitable contribution towards the Flint Rotary Foundation, that endowment. So you've got two options there. So you can let Amy know whichever works best for you. If you are unable to attend the entire conference, we still want to encourage you to participate in at least the Friday club meeting. It'll be our last club meeting of the Rotary year, and it's going to be held on site at the Gateway Center. The cost of that alone is $25, but if you register for the full conference, of course, that is included. Does anybody have questions about that? All right. Well, if there's no questions, then I hope that will help make this a good conference experience for everybody. I'm really excited about it. And this should be a great way to send off our very own Mike Chafee as he closes out his term as district governor. So other announcements, we have, of course, the Crim Rotary Mile, which is one of the service events that our club has been part of, along with others in our area. the last several years. Mike Chafee is again providing breakfast and Bloody Marys to anybody who wants to come and volunteer bright and early in the morning. It's going to be August 26th. You have links to register to sign up for that in your email. And if you are a techie person and want to scan the QR code there, you can do that as well. And it'll take you directly to the sign up page. Okay, another announcement. So if you recall, a few weeks ago, we had Teresa Roach from the Crim Foundation come and talk to us about mindfulness. She wasn't able to be here today, but asked that I pass along an announcement as a follow-up to that. The Crim will be having a mindfulness expert who's going to be speaking next week at the Capitol Theater in Flint. And so she asked that I pass along the opportunity. If it's something you're interested in as a way of building on what she shared during her talk, the tickets are $10, and you can get more information about that through either the Crim website or I believe also through the FIN's website. Am I saying that right, Anne Marie? All right. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to follow up. And then Lynn asked me to put in a little plug here. That being one of the first weekends in June, we know that means art fair weekend. So the Flint Art Fair will be taking place this Saturday and Sunday on the Flint Institute of Arts campus. And so if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to go. I'm sure that Flynn will be there and possibly some other Rotarians too. I don't have any other official announcements. Is there any other announcements from the floor? All right, then I will just make a note about health and welfare. So you may have noticed that the Rob Jewell isn't here today making any wisecracks. So he had a minor medical procedure. He is doing well. He sends his regards and says the meds are really good. So all is well. Any other health and welfare announcements? Okay. For folks on Zoom, Mike shared that Rob Bennett's significant other is having some health issues. So please keep her in your thoughts as well. All right. So I want to just greet our folks on Zoom. Let me bring up so you can see everybody there. We've got Howard and Lauren Coney, as well as Ed, who are all with us on Zoom. They don't have their cameras on, but we can go wave at you all. Hi, everybody. Hi, Zoom friends. And we have several, actually, I'm going to get over here because we have several guests in the room today. So if you are a guest, would you please stand and we will ask that your sponsor for today stand as well and introduce you. Let us know who you are. Go ahead.
I'd like to introduce to you my son Daniel and his wife Lori and my son Richard.
And no stranger to many of you in the room, I have brought Deborah Campbell, who's our development director here today. So thank you.
And it's that favorite time. Not Crim, but raffle. So if you've got raffle tickets, feel free to take those out, and Fred is making his way up front.
I did, but I am disappointed today with the club introductions. The key point is I got the cash. And the question is, why do I have, why did he join the club? Remember Willie Sutton? The bank robber from the 1930s. Why did he rob banks? That's where the money's there. Are you not a person?
I should hope so. I'm a Rotarian.
I mean, would you like to be an honor?
Certainly, I'm not honest enough to do that.
Carefully stir the pots.
No favorites, no favorites from me.
None.
No.
This one was a bed ticket. 715. Everyone has it, right?
Yeah.
556. Oh, 556.
Oh, it's Jean Dennis.
Thank you.
Stick around, we got.
Stick around? Okay.
Yeah. we got-
All right.
Some things never change. Some things don't change, that's right. Okay. A crumpled ticket. 715. 5. You knew that. 1, 1.
You're doing good so far, but not good enough.
They're all on the same table. Yeah. Okay, okay, 715. 5. 6. 4. 5, 6, 4.
Check my, did my numbers come in wrong? Register.
Going one, going twice.
Check them one more time.
All right, let's.
5, 6, 4. Okay.
Let's go another.
And this
Yeah.
Thank you, Rotarians. Thank you, Lori.
All right, well, with that, then we get to welcome up Duncan Regal, who is going to introduce our guest speaker today.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our meeting of members. This is going to be a really neat program today. I've known not for a while when we found out she took I'll give you a little bit of background. I want to let her have all the time that she needs. She is president for the Lions Foundation and Community Relations. He's responsible for leading the community engagement efforts, as well as directing all aspects of the foundation. She's got a PowerPoint presentation, so I know she'll explain to you a lot of other things that she does. Many of you may recall that she was president of this club back in, I believe, 2020.
2008, 2009.
Many of you may recall that she worked at the McLaren Hospital in Development for a while. She worked at U of M Flint for a period. And just before she went to the line, she was working at the Michigan State University College of Law, producing more lawyers. Arguably, we don't need any more. That's enough. She got her bachelor's out of, I think, Michigan. University of Michigan and a master's from Central Michigan University. She is married and has 2 adult children. And I would like for her to maybe spend a moment as part of a presentation about what her son has done with a miracle field out in Mundy Township. I think some of you will be very, very fascinated by that. Still lives in Grambling. And now, on a side note, not all of you are sports fans and Detroit Lions fans, but some of you that are of my age. Oh, God. I still remember the 50s, and I canceled my season tickets, about 2 years ago. I just couldn't take it anymore, ruining my Sunday. The more I kept reading about it, things have changed, and women are now leading the return of glory to the Detroit Lions. And know the chief financial officer, who went to school where I did, Elgin College, got Roxanne, and then if you followed Henry Ford's, I think, daughter, McGregor.
The Henry Ford's great granddaughter.
Great granddaughter, excuse me, Sheila is just done a great job. I think approximately 3 years she's been on. So Roxanne will tell you more about it. I'll tell you what, if you've been a Detroit Lions fan, we all call each other about the middle of the game. Call SOL. It's the same old line. But I re-upped my season ticket only because I was cautiously optimistic that this organization is finally headed in the right direction. And the great part of it is our own Roxanne is playing a significant role. So without wrangling on anymore, let's welcome back to our Flint Rotary Club, Roxanne.
Can you hear me? Thank you, Duncan. You'd never disappoint with an introduction. That was very generous. I really appreciate that. And thank you all for having me today. I am thrilled to be here, see so many friends. It's been a minute. And I hope that today we have a great conversation. And so feel free to stop and ask questions and that kind of thing. But I called this a peek inside the den. And this is basically a view of what I've seen and what I do on a regular basis for the club. And just so that you know, been there for a decade. But we'll get into why in a minute. But it is really an honor and privilege to be back here and share a little bit about some of our regardless of how we feel about Lions or how we felt, but this is our team. This is our NFL team for our state. And I hope that you are feeling very good about what we're doing. I want to play a little video for you so that you can get a sense of where we are, the feelings that we have inside the building right now. It worked really. Right.
So here we go. The Lions can end this ball game right here. 4-1 from the Green Bay 15. Goff takes the snap back, foot throw, caught. Game is over. Football team win tonight. You want to change the conversation? Win some games. And that's exactly what they've done. Nothing to play for is what everyone said. And nothing to play at, nothing to play for. They said, hell with that. That's right. We going out. Well, we can't go to the playoff. Okay, Green Bay, you're not going in. That's possibly the Lions. And what a launch pad into the offseason the next season. If I stocking any team that missed the playoffs this year. Now, I'm saying this with a straight face, and you all know I'm right. The Detroit Lions are #1 on this list. The progress feels incredible where we are right now. I think the offseason feels really good. You know, the last 10 weeks that we played, we can just carry that with us next year. I just can't wait for next season. This season was incredibly short. And I feel that there's way more on the table that we can get. It's the culture we build, it's the leaders in this team, it's the core of this team that's stood through that storm. First of all, to start off, just kind of give some appreciation. Thanks, obviously, first and foremost, to our ownership. Their support, their belief, most importantly, their patience that they practice with the plans that we have in place and what we're trying to build just really means everything.
We talked a lot about Brad Holmes. We talked a lot about Dan Kim, development of players, what they're doing on the field, but it all starts from the top down. And you heard Jonathan say that. It starts with his place in these people. And I believe that Sheila, Dan, Brad starts at the top, and I think it's trickled down.
I love playing for Dan. I love playing for Brad. I love playing for Sheila. It's such a special group and a special place to be.
And that comes to me from good leadership, and leadership starts from the top down. Is Sheila leading in a different way? Do you believe she is changing the course of the Detroit Lions?
It is truly an amazing time to be in Detroit Lions. Coming off that Green Bay game, I wish I was there. Half of our staff is in that particular game. But from what I heard, half the stadium wasn't on. And you could hear for the first time ever, and then go Lions, go Lions, go Lions. And it is an exciting time to be the Lions fan. It's an exciting time to be at the Lions. And one of the things that is really important to know is that the culture change is happening from the inside out. And a lot of things are changing on the inside staff is coming in, structures changing of how things are being reported and such. And that's part of how my role has evolved as well. So again, I've only been there I've started my second season, technically I've been there a year and 3 days. And, but to understand that really, we're all in it for the same thing. We want to be able to win on the field. And what my role is as vice president of the Detroit Lions Foundation and Community Relations is to really create an environment and create a culture that when we're off the field, we're as proud of what we're doing as what we're doing on the field. And we have great things that we're going to be embarking on in over the course of the next several years. So from an at-glance perspective, last year, our financial impact in the communities that we serve is about $1.9 million. And this is actually kind of low because we haven't really counted this before. We've given out grant money and we've done some things, but there is a lot of activity, a lot of collective contributions to not only the Detroit community, but throughout the state that we're doing. And we're starting to count that. So if I'm ever invited back, if I'm invited back a year from now, I hope that number's a lot higher. I think it's going to be. We're really going to be focusing on a lot of service hours and doing things to help create transformation. And when I say the word transformation, many of you already know I'm a word tourist. If you know Cyrus Ferry, he's been an influence on me in that. I have to use the words very carefully. And we truly want to make a real difference and something that we can see. And so we'll get into just exactly where we're going. Once upon a time, history about in the 1980s, the Detroit Lions charities came on the scene, and that was our first foray into giving back to the communities. And at that time, you needed $100. Gene, you got $100. If Liz needed $100, she got $100. Everybody got $100. And so over the years, we've been refining and defining and refining what impact means for us. And a lot of times I think people look at big organizations, and especially something like the Detroit Lions, as they can give to everything and everybody. And we would like to, we unfortunately can't. But we're trying to define what areas where we can and need most impact. And so there's, and before I get too far into that, I do want to explain a little bit about my job too, is that there's 3 main branches that I'm responsible for. It's the foundation, which is our nonprofit fundraising, grant making arm, soon to be fundraising arm. The player, alumni, and legend relations piece, and I'll get into more of that as well. And then community relations. So we're going to start out with community relations and really what we've refined ourselves to be. So many of you who are NFL fans, and are there football fans in the room? Yeah. Okay, so if you're an NFL fan, you've heard of Persia Catch, right? You've heard of Persia Catch. That's that's the NFL's awareness of cancer support, building on awareness, prevention, early detection. That's what makes it Persia Catch. But also supporting those who are in economic needs. So we're and with the same with the salute to service and some other. So these are the things that we as a club are working towards. So cancer support to align with Persia Catch, military support to align with salute to service, social justice to align with Inspire Change, which came in during the pandemic, right around the George Floyd murders, and the outcry of something's got to change, something's got to be different, and this is really player led. It's very from a NFL standpoint. We are looking also to support those kinds of things in social justice as well. We have a new team that we're introducing, actually. It's coming from the Detroit Lions, and a nod don't get particular about it. Women in football. There's a lot of women who are impacting the game and making a lot of great changes, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And then something that I affectionately call the holidays, which focuses on youth and family. And usually at the holiday time, we are working on causes for food insecurity, housing insecurity, things of basic needs. So those are our 5 main goals that we're doing. And I had all these slides, I meant to slide the pass through it. So one of the things I want to point out here though, with the social justice is that, and these are player level. So My Cause, My Cleats is a very popular thing that the NFL does every year with players can have specially designed cleats to support a cause that is near and dear to them. And our players and coaches take part in that. This next year, I think our entire organization will have an opportunity to take part in that as well. And then the cleats can be auctioned off to support their causes. And so, which is really cool. And so this is Jared Goff 2 years ago. They're beautiful cleats. He wore them in the game, and then auctioned them off with the local nonprofit thing. So as far as inspired change and helping to move the needle with social justice issues, the players also pick 5 local nonprofits every year, and they raise money for it. And so each one of these organizations received about $80,000 this last year a piece to do some really cool things in the Detroit community. And for this, we do focus on Detroit because that's where the players are. And so, Athletes for Charity is an organization that helps athletes go into the schools and provide opportunities for STEM education, help inspire kids that are in underserved areas or historically underserved, and introduce them to like robotics with the Robot Garage and different cool things like that. The Black United Fund in Michigan, they do a really cool thing, where they work with the underserved youth, but they show them in a way of inspiration. So they put them through an aviation program, where they take them to the airport and they learn how to, what happens when you're in the plane, and they learn running from pilots, and they give them the opportunity to see themselves in those roles. Super cool. And, downtown Detroit Phoenix Center, they work with youth who are housing insecure and with suicidal ideation. And downtown Boxington, there's other opportunities that to learn boxing and other life skills in the after-school program, which is very cool. And then the last one is Family Assistance for Renaissance Men, or otherwise known as SPARK. And they help men who oftentimes have been incarcerated, but have children, are trying to be good dads, learning how to be good dads. And it's a faith-based program that really gets to the root of this is how you have these are the things that you should do in order to be a good parent, a good spouse, a good partner with your pets. And a lot of it is brand new to these people because they never had that growing up. And this is really changing lives as well. And every year things change and the players get to pick. And so this is a reflection of what our last year's roster does. So that just gives you a flavor for what inspired change is all about. So, and the other thing that they do is our team, they actually do service projects. This is Malcolm Rodriguez. And he is working with farm for cleaning up their transitional home that they're giving to a family that is about ready to be on their own. And there's Malcolm to the left of him is Aiden Hutchinson and a few people can see a few others in the background, but we had all the rookies last year out there on the service project. And this next year, next week we actually have our new badge version students. I just put this up here because in case you're looking for me on the game, if you see a big chunk, I'm usually there. So that's where you see me. And it's funny, it's the only time I wear a suit is on game days. Otherwise, we're in joggers and hoodies. It's the weirdest thing because this is what I know it looks like. I would be way too fancy for work today. So another way that we as a club are trying to inspire change is we work with the youth to give them other opportunities. And this was a really cool event that we did at Black History Month, where we had a bus tour with high school students that were taking entrepreneurial classes, so cool. And we went to 5 different Black-owned businesses, and they were all very different. And they each, all the students got to ask questions of the owners, and the owners showed them like the ins and outs of their business, and they went back to school, back to class. They had a prompt, which was in 2020. Does everyone know that we have the NFL draft in 2024? We have the NFL draft in 2024. So for that, develop a business. What kind of business would you develop to have ready for the 2024 draft? So they had a month. They came back to a pitch competition. And so we had a venture capitalist there. We had the president of the Venture Black Business Alliance, Q, the woman that's standing there. She is an entrepreneur. She's a chef. She's not formally trained, but she has a really cool story and a really cool restaurant called Cooking with Q. And it's a demonstration kitchen for, and she calls it where vegan and meat eaters meet. Because she learned that she had to be vegan in order to avoid taking steroids for her disease. And she's now become a great chef, and she was actually on The View, and her Old Tail hamburger beat out the Wagyu, or what, how would you say that word? The beef burger, on The View, so it's pretty awesome. And they're giving these kids advice, and the kids, what was so cool, like 2 of them had apps already online ready to go. Another one had a food truck that they already had out and about. Another one had clothing, a whole clothing line. And so many great ideas and things. And so this was a pitch competition. There were 3 winners, no, 5 winners at $1,000 a piece. And it just gives you great that we have going to take care of us. So women in football, and then I wanted to put this item because again, you know, Sheila Hare truly is real deal, and she is, she has a great business mind, but she's also very human. And there is nothing, she has never made me feel less than my family when I'm around her, and she's the same with every person I've ever seen her. And this team means the world to this family, and the family is doing, truly is doing the best that they can, and good changes have happened. Somebody asked me if Mrs. Ford is still alive, and she is. And you know, she has been, you know, at games, and this was taken very recently, within months. But some of the things that we do a bit of football, I should go back, is we're starting a girls' flag league. And we want to be able to introduce girls' high school flag football to all schools around the entire state, and eventually have to become a sanctioned sport in the state of Michigan. This last spring, we had a pilot league, and there were four schools who participated. They included Lapeer, Holly, Bishop Foley, and Madison Heights, and then Rochester Consolidated. The girls had a great time, and there were about, in total, 200 girls. And it was fantastic football. It really, really was. And it's something that we hope that continues to grow. And I say this here, so please spread the word, because there's going to be opportunities to help grow the this league. And we'd love to see more participation from Genesee County schools, and as well as other schools throughout the state, so that we can give women more options, because there's a lot more, there's scholarship opportunities for in colleges already for girls flag. And we need to give our Michigan girls those opportunities as well. So, and again, I mentioned we do a lot in the holidays with food insecurity and such. And last year we had a big dinner at Ford Field. This year, because the Falcons coming in, we can have dinner at Ford Field. But we are planning on doing a really huge turkey drive to go into the neighborhoods and support families that cannot afford Thanksgiving meals like we are all accustomed to. And there will be more information coming up. So our players, legends, and alumni, you know, what makes a player, what makes a legend, what makes a alumni. So players are active crossword players. So the guys that are playing right now on a practice squad, You know, the people that you see wearing the blue jerseys on Sundays, those are players. Our legends include everyone, when we say legends, they think very famous. Yes, he's a legend. But a legend is actually a former player who's played at least 2 years and on our team. And so we have this whole legends community, and this is very important to be about because they want to take care of the players that worked so hard and gave so much to this game and to this league. And so there's a whole lot of benefits that are available to them. And so part of what our responsibility is to stay connected with those players so that they can have access to a dedicated hospital network and to insurance and to other resources that they need. And so it's really important that we do. And then alumni are those that haven't played quite that long, but we still keep them connected because, you know, to make it to be now is such a huge honor and privilege. And all the players, anyone who's given any amount of time has made our club what it is right now and made the school be what it is. And so some of the things too that I just wanted to make mention, it is our 90th season this year. And so we have a lot that we're doing around the 90th season. And Back Together Saturday, we'll kick that off, which is our first day of training camp. And our Lions legends and alumni will certainly be out. That is Corey Sussinger and George Bell, for those of you who are Lions. And they still live in Michigan. We often are at our events when we have legends. But we're going to do some things to recognize them, and we have those lives under the game and use historical posts on social media, have historical displays throughout the stadium, and we're also looking at doing a really cool community service project when they come back for home, which happens to be the football. So now we're moving on to the Detroit Lions Foundation. Detroit Lions Foundation, basically, so community relations, we have 5 pillars. Detroit Lions Foundation 2, youth development, growing the game of football. And so what youth development really means to us is education, health and wellness, mental health, social justice, and personal development and enrichment. So a lot of what I was kind of talking about before, but what we're trying to focus on is from a foundation standpoint. And I should mention that we are a grant making foundation. We are a closed grant making foundation, which means we don't accept application unless by invitation only. And we have selected partners at this time. This is how we're operating right now. But we're trying to create an opportunity to help students that are severely underserved and are at the need the most help possible. We have what's called the Detroit Lions Academy. And the Detroit Lions Academy is a school within the Detroit Public Schools. It is for kids who have gotten off course. Right now, the school is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Most of those kids are 14, 15, and 16 years old, and the majority are at the 3rd grade reading level. These are kids that have had life circumstances. They don't really have parents in the home. They like to live in cars. They see murders on a regular basis, and they come to school and they have opportunities that they would never have seen. They have players that come in and read to them. They have players that come in and well, this is Jared Goff. He put in a sitting lab in school, and they're building a volcano out of like this. You know, and there's some really cool things that they get a chance to be able to do. We have a program that's called Beyond Basics. Actually, George Bell introduced us to Beyond Basics, and it's a reading program that is prescriptive to each student. And each student has a one-on-one mentor for 1 hour a day for 16 weeks every day. And they can move their reading level from up to, we've seen 3 grade levels in this pilot program. That is the kind of impact. And then when I talk about transformation, that's the kind of transformation we want to see. We have just changed the trajectory of our lives. And so that's what we're looking at with youth development. When it comes to growing the game, I love this picture. It looks like when it comes to growing the game, I mentioned girls flag football, but you know, there's so many other ways of growing the game too, because we want kids we want our youth to know the game, to learn the game, and to love the game. And because whether you play it or not, for those of you who do watch it or families watch it, there's nothing like getting together with that on a Sunday or on Thanksgiving Day, and celebrate what's happening. And so we have some partnerships that we work with Detroit, with the youth high school programs, and then also the cheer. That's another very important thing that we don't want to forget, because cheer is the first way of really learn football. So we do a lot there. We also are working with the Boys and Girls Club in South Michigan, installing new football fields so that kids have safe places to play football. And to help also create safe environments for the kids to play. We have a program called Touchdown in Your Town that's open statewide. And we have about $100,000 that we invest every year in that program that goes out to schools, like I said, throughout the state of Michigan, and gives them helmets and football pads and things like that. So we really want kids to be safe as they learn the game and love the game. One thing else I wanted to mention down here is the AED is very, it's very tiny font, sorry. But that is also something that's super important. We all, if you were watching the Bills game where Jamar Hamlin was down, and whether you're a football fan or not, I'm sure. We at the NFL and all the clubs are looking to increase the amount of CPR and AED training, and also AED availability. One thing that's true is that a lot of places have AEDs around, but who knows how to use it? Does anyone here know how to use an AED? Yeah, look at, there's two. Right? Seriously, I mean, so one of the things that we're trying to do next is we're going into the schools, working with the American Heart Association. We're going to go into the schools and provide them training kits with mannequins for CPR and AED training, so and concussion only CPR, and be able to train the student athletes as well. So we anticipate to train up to 300 students every year in about 50 schools. All right, perfect. I am, and I will begin. So we're doing a lot to get involved with the communities, and we're looking for different ways to be involved. And that's a lot of what I've been doing this last year, is assessing, and we'll continue that assessment as we move forward. I did just want to show you who my team is. So on the level of me is my boss, who is our chief brand officer. I report up to him, and then I have a team of 4 right now. We have two positions that are open, so we're going to grow because we need to do more than what we have, and try to figure it out. So one more quick video, because where this chapter ended, which is this is, as we like to affectionately say, Aaron Rodgers' last cast being finished. This is where we're headed. postman or I'm the SAS on the team. And while they're doing their best to do their best for you on the field, that's why we're trying to do our best off the field. So thank you so much for having me here today. And I'd be happy to take any questions if there's time.
All right, we've got time for maybe one question. Anybody's got a burning question? Oh, there's two hands. Two quick questions.
Roxanne, I did not play in the NFL, but, it's funny, come on. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I believe I worked with the Lions' biggest fan. They tell people she went to every Lions game last year. Oh, okay, so, Duncan Beagle. No, she went to every away game as well. So,
Is she one of the super fans?
Yeah,
Did she get to go to the
Draft.
draft too?
yeah, she was at the draft.
Who was that?
Melissa Fury,
Yes,
yeah,
Yes.
know her?
I don't, but I know of her.
Okay.
I know of her, and I think she gave some really nice flowers to, the people who did her.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
All right.
there is a whole group of super fans out there. It's a subculture of America. It is. I'm not wrong about it.
This being the 90th year, and there is discussion about the Super Bowl.
There's been discussion when the Super Bowl. I think it's one game at a time. If you watched Dan Campbell last year after we were 1-6, and then we were suddenly 2-6, he said it's now a 6-season game and we are 1-0. It's one game and the next game and the next game. And, as far as winning the Super Bowl, I mean, no one knows, no one can predict the future, right? But I believe, this is Roxanne Kane talking, not official from, the Detroit Lions. I believe this is going to happen. And I believe it's going to be with this administration, this team, this coach. It's going to happen. We will, I hope that we will be in the playoffs. I believe that we will, because the mentality is there. And the excitement's there. I mean, there is, so, you hear alumni come back and they say, or the legends come back and they say, it's just different. It's just different in there. The locker room's just different. It just feels different. It's happening. And, I think there was a huge testament to the fact that the whole team knew going into the Green Bay game that they did not make the playoffs because Seattle won. And that didn't matter. That did not matter. He turned to
All right, that's a great note to end. Probably knows very well, because she used to occupy this spot. We like to recognize our guest speakers with a contribution towards the eradication of polio in your honor. So that has been done. But she also, she flipped the script a little bit because she brought things for us. And so, I know we have just a couple moments here, but would you like to do the auction? She brought things to auction. Okay. So if you are a Detroit Lions fan, we have. Okay, so
we have the Detroit Lions hoodie that Brian, I think you have, so you don't want it. Unless you want to give it to a friend. So it's a Detroit Lions men's extra large hoodie. It's fantastic, and it's one of a kind. So a Khalif Raymond autographed football. Khalif Raymond, number 11. For those of you who don't know him, and then an Alex Anzalone, I can't see him very well. Signed mini helmet.
all right, so 3 wonderful items available, and any contributions will go toward the Polio Plus Fund. So, anybody want to make a bid for the sweatshirt?
$20.
$20 for the sweatshirt. Do I hear 25?
25.
All right. 30 for Joy. Anyone want to go higher than 30?
I'll go 40.
40.
Oh,
I
I have a young man who'd wear it.
All right. Anyone want to go higher than 40? 45.
Nice. All right, I'll go 50 and that's it. Right?
55.
Wow.
Oh, it's like I have a gavel, look at that. All right, next item, the sign.
Colleen Raymond.
Khalif Raymond.
I don't know who that is.
25.
30.
I hear 30.
Max would love it.
40 Scrammer.
50.
50 over here. 60.
I'll do 75.
Whoa. Do I hear higher than 75? Going once, going twice.
Oh, it's Max's last baseball. I wonder, not last time I gave you Roxanne.
And our last signed mini calendar, $20 for June. 30 from Joy. Anyone going higher than 30?
Alex
Going
Anzalone.
Going twice? Sold. What a way to end our meeting. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Duncan Beagle, for introducing our speaker, David, for your inspirational message this week as well, covering the bulletin. Thanks, Mike, for stepping, we set up a takedown, and Becky for filling in the registration table. And of course, to press for doing our wrap. Thank you also to our new Rotarians and your family members for coming today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And come back next week. You can see me roasted.
Oh, you're gonna make his day. Every time. She does. Jared, I need another bookshelf.
Oh, you're gonna make his day.